Everyone talks about Jimmy Butler. What about the dozens of other good players that could be traded soon? Why are we not talking about them? Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, Zion Williamson. Who is realistically getting these guys? Well, this chart shows how much salary each team has now. The more expensive, the harder it is to do a deal. So let's rule out the Suns, Wolves, Celtics, and Bucks from a huge trade. We're not going to dive deep on them, but it's tough, not impossible, for the Lakers, Knicks, Heat, Nuggets, and Philly. Open for business, everyone else, starting with Dallas and Golden State. The Warriors need a second scorer to take pressure off Steph Curry, someone to extend his window. Jimmy Butler is perfect. Shams just reported Suns and Dubs at the top of his list, Mavs and Rockets underneath. So the trade is Warriors get Jimmy for Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, Jonathan Kuminga, 2 firsts and a second. The Nets take Gui Santos. Basically Jimmy for Kuminga and 2 firsts. Dennis Schroeder can be traded now because of how the Dubs did his deal. But lost in all this Jimmy drama is Miami's mindset. They're not going to lose him for nothing because the only team with max money is Brooklyn. Are the Nets going to pay 35-year-old Jimmy the max? No. So the Heat are like, yeah, go ahead and threaten to leave. There's nowhere for you to go. So Rare has been on fire so far this season. We just had the NBA Cup with thousands in cash prizes. And now it's Christmas. Now, if you don't play So Rare, you're missing out. It is a fantasy game where you collect and play cards throughout the NBA season to win real money. For example, you can always play daily hoops like me with a $12,500 prize pool. This week I am rolling with Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, Julius Randle, Ben Mathurin, and Josh Green. But there are special contests leading up to Christmas like Bounty Hunter and Santa's Helper on Christmas Day. Bounty Hunter is simple. You play against So Rare itself. Hit 2 target scores, collect your share of the prize pool. Unlimited, it is a $5,000 pot plus $150 guaranteed if you hit that first target. There's bonuses from December 5th to January 5th, where on Daily Hoops, it features a 10% scoring bonus for special edition cards. This time of year is amazing. So sign up for So Rare using my link. You get up to 20% off, up to $100 to buy cards for those cash prizes that are a ton of fun. So come play So Rare NBA with me. It is a ton of fun and a great way to follow the league all year long. Yes, he could demand a sign and trade, but Miami would still get something there. But The Athletic says the Lakers are expected to be one of the more active buyers at the trade deadline as they try to maximize the final seasons of LeBron and AD. Oh, really? LA has held on to their picks for a huge deal, so what do they need? A 3-and-D wing. Ever since they let go of KCP, Kyle Kuzma, and Alex Caruso. Someone to defend and space for LeBron and AD, but it's not going to be just one trade. So the perfect deal? A 2-pack. Lakers get Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith. The Nets get D'Lo, Austin Reeves, Max Christie, and the 2 firsts. The Nets did not get their 2025 pick back from Houston to win games, people. Get these vets out of here. What they need are young players. So Austin Reeves is good on offense, but Max Christie has disappointed. Not shooting well, his defense is garbage. Cam Johnson and DFS, though, shoot 42 and 43% from deep. Both guys defend on the perimeter. LA needs big help, not just one guy. So a trade like this is perfect. But the Dallas Mavericks already kick butt. Can you imagine if they got another good piece? This team is so deep, they just went 5-1 without Luka. So what do they really need? Well, Jimmy Butler wants to be there, which is unrealistic. They would have to deal all their depth, and they don't even have the picks to move. Heat would never do that. Well, honestly, this is a pretty complete team, but shooting let them down in the finals last year. So the Mavericks get Dorian Finney-Smith, Nets get Maxi Kleber, and the 2031 first-round pick swap. Has to be a small contract to not give up depth, so forget Bruce Brown or Cam Johnson. Has to be a shooter who can defend, so forget Bogdan Bogdanovic or Colin Sexton. The Mavs don't have to make a trade, but DFS is one that actually makes sense. But what about the Nuggets? We are getting big rumors. Last year, they finished in second place, Top 8 in both offense and defense, but now have slipped to 5th. Worse on both ends of the floor, especially D. What happened? Honestly, KCP ain't it. I mean, Christian Brown has mostly replaced him, making 7.5 times less money. The issue? Jamal Murray. He has always been a slow starter, but this is different. His worst scoring in 5 years at 18 points a game. Just 35% from 3. Last year was 43%. So who could possibly help Jokic? Zach LaVine for Michael Porter Jr. and Zeke Naji. That's it. Where else are you going to get an all-star in his prime for that cheap? The Bulls are dying to get off LaVine's contract. Denver gets a 22-point-a-game creator without having to sacrifice their shooting. Give up Michael Porter Jr., but you get Zach LaVine. So obvious. Also, Chicago frees up Kobe White and Josh Giddey to handle the rock. This trade just makes so much sense for both teams. But the most underrated contender right now is the Memphis Grizzlies. The one team with a top 6 offense and defense. Can you imagine Ja Morant in the NBA Finals? The problem is they don't really need a major trade. They're kind of like the Dallas Mavericks. A complete team that still kills when Ja Morant is injured. Some say Jimmy Butler, but that's unrealistic. So what is a smaller, legitimate deal? The Grizzlies get DeAndre Hunter, and the Hawks get Brandon Clark, Luke Kennard, and a first-round pick. Atlanta wants to get younger around Trey with Zachary Richer, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson. So they flip DeAndre Hunter for basically a first-round pick. Hunter is a major defender who's scoring 20 points a game this year. Rumors say the Hawks are willing to move him, so why not get 3-and-D help around Ja Morant? But we have got to talk about huge players on the market. A major Chicago reporter says the Bulls are aggressively shopping Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, and Nikola Vucevic. Zoe is still effective on limited minutes. Can you believe one of just 12 guys with 2 steals and a block per 36? And he leads all 12 of those guys in assists. Yes, he is an injury risk, but just 1 year left on his deal, so it's not too risky. But quietly, Vooch is having an amazing season. 21 points a game on 48% from 3 from a big man, that is elite. But the biggest blockbuster trade is in New Orleans. A great reporter, Mark Stein, says there are basically 3 untouchable Pelicans. Young Gems, Herb Jones, Yves Missi, and Trey Murphy. But notice who's not on that list. Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, and Zion Williamson. Yes, Zion is officially on the market. Luckily, his final 3 years are all non-guaranteed, which makes it easier for a team to take a chance. But what is Zion's trade value? The dude is overweight and always injured. I would say New Orleans wants cap relief for sure, and at least 2 first-round picks, maybe 3. So what teams would risk that? Well, because he's still just 24 years old, I think the Rockets, Nets, Jazz, Pistons, and maybe Hawks. So for example, the Nets get Zion for Ben Simmons and 3 first-round picks. Simmons is expiring, which immediately clears up New Orleans' books. This would also require a Brandon Ingram trade down the road, but Brooklyn would then sit Zion this year to get a high pick and build from there. The Pels also are tanking for a high pick, and they would reset around whoever they draft. Get Zion and Brandon Ingram out of there. Could be Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey. Either way, I think Zion's days are over in New Orleans. It's just a matter of time before he is gone. Now remember, the deadline is February 6th. A lot can happen between now and then. It may not be Jimmy Butler, but some big names will be traded the next few months. But no one is talking about the Grizzlies. I can't figure it out. They're easily one of the best teams in the NBA, and nobody cares. So I had a deep dive on what makes the Grizz different, but why Ja Morant might still be a problem off the court.